Hi, I'm R.A. Salvatore, Bob. Please call me Bob. Nobody calls me R.A. And I've been writing fantasy books longer than most of you have been alive. In one series in particular, my Dark Elf books for the Forgotten Realms. And yeah, I'm the guy who killed Chewie. Deal with it. The Neverwinter Saga. It's about a character trying to find hope again and having a hard time at it. It's time for Drizzt to figure out who he is and what he's all about. For the first time in his life, he's surrounded by people who aren't of like heart and mind. And he's really conflicted because he's fighting between what he had and what once was and what he's kind of forced to have now. Will he follow the advice that an elf gave him many years before, that to survive when you're an elf and you live hundreds of years, to survive among humans, you have to be able to let go and just go on again. And he hasn't quite been able to do that as hard as he's been trying to. Drizzt has always been someone who's been optimistic, who's thought that the world was going to get better. You know, it moves slowly, but it always moves in the right direction. That's not true of the Forgotten Realms. With the spell plague and all the darkness that came over the land, the world hasn't gotten better. It's gotten measurably worse for the average person, particularly in the areas where Drizzt haunts. You know, the Sword Coast, Luskan has fallen. He watched his friend Captain Dudamont fail when he tried to tame Luskan. And particularly for Drizzt, who's lost everything. You know, he's hanging out with Artemis and Treri, that would have never happened when his other friends were alive, unless by special circumstance. It's the classic story of somebody who falls in with the wrong crowd, right? And you hope that he'll lift them up to his level, but you're afraid they might pull him down into the gutter with them. I was not surprised when I was writing the book and I found out we were going back to Icewind Dale, because it made sense to me that this is right. This is where everything should happen. He's clearly been adrift, and his instincts are taking him one place and his heart's trying to pull him somewhere else. And he had to come to a decision. He had to figure out what was what. And the best place to do that is back home for a lot of people, myself included. People are constantly struggling with that which came before. You build your operating system as a human being when you're young. And the way you react to things is often dependent on the way you learn to react to things when you were young. I really believe that. And so if you look at the way Drizzt was taught to react to things, it has served him well in terms of his moral fiber and his character and his consistency and his forthrightness in dealing with the world. But in a lot of ways, it has served him ill because there's an innocence that he clings to, that optimism that I was talking about earlier. And all of a sudden, the world just didn't allow for that anymore in terms of personal loss. And so when you look at where Drizzt is in the Neverwinter series, he's that little kid going to the academy in Menzo Baranzan again, trying to figure it out, trying to make sense of things that don't make sense to him. And it's an interesting parallel journey. So, you know, for the people that like reading Homeland and seeing that character try to climb out of the darkness, that's what this series is about. Only now the darkness is inside of him. So we'll see what happens.